Well, here we are on the Monday night, Eastern Standard Time, and welcome to the Prog Monster. My name is Murph, and I'm the host of the show, a show dedicated to progressive rock, hard rock, and heavy metal, and other forms of rock related music. So, anyways, this is episode 12 of my series of great rock stars who thrilled us but have since passed on. Anyways, tonight's episode, or this episode will actually be released tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. However, tonight's episode is about two musicians who aren't probably readily known, but have had a bit of an impact in their particular genre that they were in, and both, of course. I chose this night to be a little bit of a violent one, I guess, unbeknownst to me at first. But both the people I chose to represent a couple of different types of music that I normally don't listen to. But they also were both murdered, so it turned out that would end up being the highlight of tonight's story. So, anyways, the first one is Fran O'Toole from the band called Miami Snowboard, which was an Irish rock, an Irish pop soul band is what it was really. 6 of them, kind of a boys band a bit. I like pre-boys band era, but definitely a type of boys band. The music was, I listened to quite a bit of their stuff while I was researching them, and it's a bit of a poppy, a little bit of a soul, Irish soul part to it. Anyways, he was born in 1946 in Bray, Ireland, and he died July 31st, 1975 at Down District Council in UK. He was a pop soul singer, as I said, and a vocalist. Anyways, they had, I believe they stated there was like 7 number 1 hits, but in Ireland. So I listened to the stuff. I didn't recognize any of the songs. Very kind of ballady, poppy, a little bit of soul mixed in there. Not too bad of a music, but not really my style. But I wanted to give some attention to this type of music because this type of music leads to other types of music. So the story about these guys, the reason I chose Fran was basically to represent the whole band, because this band was murdered at a checkpoint. So how it went was that they were stopped by a group of men pretending to be British soldiers, and they were actually the Ulster Defence Regiment, UDR they were called. And what they did is they wanted to plant a bomb in their truck because they knew they were going somewhere to blow, so that it would blow those people up when they got there. But what they did is they stopped the truck. They asked them to exit. They got them to exit. And then they said, "Okay, turn around and face away." I thought this was going to be like a Nazi thing here, but so what happened is 2 of the guys in the Ulster Defence Force or Regiment planted a time bomb in their vehicle. But during the planting of the time bomb, it went off and killed the 2 guys planting it and injured one of the other members of the band, who was thrown into a ditch and faked death so they wouldn't know who he was, and then that he wasn't dead. And then the remaining regiment guys opened fire on the members of the band, killing them all except for wounding one member. And one of the members that was killed was, of course, Fran O'Toole. Anyways, so it's kind of a bit of a known story in Ireland, maybe not so much known over here. I guess if you're a music historian, which I am a bit of, I found it a bit interesting. So anyways, he was survived by his wife and 2 daughters. I think their names were Rachel and Kelly, his 2 daughters, and they've since put out a memorial for him, but it took many years later. And anyways, the 3 members of the band, 3 members of the regiment were eventually captured and are serving life term in jail for murder of the three band members. The band itself actually reformed the next year and continued to tour for about 6 more years, I think, and then they broke up and reformed a couple times. I think the last time was in 2015. They gave it like a memorial concert for the band members that had died, and the 3 surviving members. There were 7 members in the band. The 3 surviving members. Yeah, the 3. No, there was 6 members in the band. The 3 surviving members, along with a couple of other members that they had taken on after the incident, did a memorial concert at the end to mark the to memorialize the 3 members that were killed, which included Fran. Anyways, he actually had a bit of a solo part too, I think. I'm not quite sure. I think I read something about doing some solo stuff too. Some of the music that I saw was basically just him singing, sitting and singing. He looked like your typical kind of teeny bopper type singer. When he died, he was only 29, which is unfortunate. So his daughters were only 4 and 3. They didn't get to see him as because he just disappeared, obviously, right? So, anyways, that's the story of Fran O'Toole and his legacy and the snowboard, the Miami snowboard. Okay, so the other musician we're talking about tonight also came to a bit of a tragic end by a gun as well. Story is a little bit different, maybe a little more well known as well. He was a American, I guess you might want to call him an R&B funk soul type musician. He played drums as well. He was the drummer, percussionist. He was born November 27th, 1935 in Memphis, Tennessee, and he died October the 1st, 1975, also in Memphis, Tennessee. So he was active from 1940 till 1975. Okay, so a little about him. He was a drummer for Booker T and the MGs. Otis Redding referred to him as the greatest drummer in the world at that time. I guess that's the way he felt about him. What happened to him is he was also killed. He had been estranged from his wife because they had had conflicts in the past, so he was living on his own. And he came to the house to see her, and while he was knocking at the door, she opened the door, and there was a gunman inside, and came in and he tied him and forced him to the floor, and then tied her to the chair, and then he was there to rob them, basically. And she had told him already previously, before her husband had come, that they had nothing of value. There was nothing in the house of value, and he searched the house and found nothing. And then Alan said when he came, or Albert Jackson Jr., who we're talking about here. I think I forgot actually to mention his name. Yeah, I guess it's late. Anyways, he told him that the only thing they had of value was the money in his wallet. So, and the guy actually referred to him by his name. So there's some kind of belief that he knew him previously, and based on what he did to him, he probably didn't like him either. So he was forced to the floor, and then he was somehow his wife escaped and got out the door, but he was shot in the back 5 times by the assailant, and the assailant escaped with money and whatever he could find in the house, and he was actually never captured. They've never captured him. It's been about 25 years or more. Well, it's been like 45 years now since that incident happened, and he's never captured. Anyways, so his musical legacy was playing with Booker T and the MGs, a drummer for them, and They're a bit of a R&B funk band. So I basically chose him because I hadn't given any kind of consideration to funk music up until this point. But I've been trying early on, at least in these set of videos, to tie other forms of music to rock and what they brought to the rock music. So, and I think funk has brought quite a bit. A lot of bands use groove and you know they might call like funky sounds to their music, and this was a band. Booker T and the MGGs were a bit of a funk band, I think. Anyways, and he also played soul. That was probably I think it was probably pre Booker T and the MGs, but I could be wrong. Anyways, so there you have it. Albert J. Jackson Jr., drummer for Booker T and the MGs. And of course, Fran O'Toole, vocalist, singer for the Miami Snowboards, Irish band. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's the number 12, of course, in the series. The next one will come out on Thursday morning. We're up to 1976 now. Wow, today was 1975's, and we're up to 1976. So it's moving along fairly well. It's for 12, 13 years in. Long way to go still, though. I figured it out. I calculated it out so that it's going to be a total. I think there's supposed to be 116 artists being done here, but I actually think it's going to be more, because several of my shows as we go along, there was one particular year where there's about 8 or 9 people who died that I kind of liked, and I wasn't going to do 8 or 9 people in an episode. So what I did is I just took the 4 I liked the most and I split it into 2 episodes. So, but that won't be for a bit yet. Well, actually, one of them's coming up fairly soon. I think in 79 or 80. But anyways, so the next year will be 1976. A couple of more stars that thrilled us, but have since passed on. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please like and subscribe, and give me comments if you know any more about these stories. Especially Fran's story, it was difficult to find anything very detailed about it. And I don't generally trust Wikipedia, so I may read the Wikipedia thing, but then look for other sources too to see if they're the same or not. But there wasn't a great deal of detail about it. I did listen to the music of Fran, and it kind of reminded me, like, to be honest with you, the thought that came to mind was the Osmond Brothers, but not the kind of poppy, funky stuff, but more or less the kind of soul stuff like that earlier, like the ballads and stuff like that. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed it, and this is Prog Monster signing off, so have a good night. Bye.